What's up YouTube, Cypherdos back at it again with another deck profile and discussion. This week, as promised last week, we have Abyss Actors, and I love this deck. When I first saw it, I was hooked instantly, but I just feel like, you know, they need that little bit more support and then they can do something. Pendulum based decks have never really been my thing, but there's definitely one of my favorites. You know, I always like the lower tier pendulums like this and Dino Mist. So without further ado, we'll get on to it. So we play one copy of Evil Heal. So his pendulum scale effect is once per turn you contribute one Abyss Actor monster, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and it loses attack equal to the original attack of the tributed monster. So if you tribute a superstar, you can make an opponent's monster lose 2500 attack. And it can help you get over some of the bigger boards, because sometimes, most of the time, you are not going to have a big board. This deck does suffer from a lot of issues, like getting out your big boards. Master Rule 4 really hurt this deck a lot, and I'll go over that in the future support section of these videos of what I think I need. And then his monster effect is if he is normally special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and it loses 1000 attack for each Abyss Actor monster you currently control until the end of the turn. And then if it destroys an opponent monster by battle, you target a Abyss script spell in your grave and set it. So he's 3000, he's the big beat stick, technically the boss monster. But he's a one-of, he's not necessary for any plays, but he can help you make a game and break big boards. The first three of is 3 copies of Abyss Actor Superstar. So his pendulum scale effect is once per turn you contribute an Abyss Actor monster and then target one Abyss script spell in your grave and add it to your hand. And then his monster effect is if he is normal or special summoned, your opponent's spell and trap cards cannot be activated. And then once per turn you can set an Abyss script card directly from your deck, but it is sent to the graveyard during the end phase. So it just makes me really wish the Abyss scripts procced their effects off of just being sent to the graveyard by a card effect instead of having to be sent specifically by your opponents, because this could help them just so much. But I guess it would make them just, you know, that little bit more little bit more difficult. But being able to set one directly from the deck, you have the ones like the, what is it called again? Rise of the Abyss King, which can just blow up a whole board, and if you have a level 7 or 8 Abyss Actor, your opponent can't chain to it. And there's definitely a lot of good cards in this deck. They just need that pinch more help. And then we got 3 copies of Abyss Actor Mellow Madonna. So she got a long effect, but she has a scale 0, which is always nice. So you can pay 1000 life points to add an Abyss Actor pendulum monster from your deck to your hand except herself. Also, you can special summon for the rest of the turn except Abyss Actor pendulum monsters. Even if this card leaves the field, hahaha. And that's a once per turn effect for the pendulum scale. Then it gains 100 attack for each Abyss script spell card in your graveyard. And you can only use each of the following effects over once per turn. When a pendulum monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if an Abyss script spell card or effect is activated, you can special summon one level 4 lower Abyss Actor pendulum monster from your deck, but returns to the hand during the end phase. So she just helps you dig through your deck. And she has the first restriction I think we've gone over so far of locking you out of doing anything with your extra deck, which is the big thing I feel like this deck, you know, just needed to not have, because you can't do anything after you do this pretty much. You are locked into pendulum summoning one monster from your extra deck. And it hurts so bad because this deck can go into so many plays. They can make Galaxy Tomahawk. They have 6 level 7s that we play in this build. They can do Galaxy Tomahawk, they can do Draco Sax, Big Eyes, you can do Link plays, Electromite, but you can't do any of that if you lock yourself into that. Anyways, we'll move on. We got 3 copies of Wild Hope. So pendulum effect is once per turn target an Abyss Actor card. If you have, you can target an Abyss Actor card in your other pendulum zone, and its pendulum scale becomes 9 until the end of this turn. Also, you can special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except the Abyss Actor monsters. So he is slightly less restrictive. Also, it's very interesting to note that Mellow Madonna says Abyss Actor pendulum monsters, while he just says Abyss Actor monsters. They don't have anything besides pendulum monsters. So that makes me wonder what they could have in mind. Anyways, once per turn you can make this card gain 100 attack for each Abyss Actor monster you currently control with different names until the end of this turn. And then if it is destroyed by battle or card effect, you add an Abyss Actor card from your deck to your hand except itself. So he's one of the floaters. He helps you get your scales up there, unbrick your scales, because a lot of times you can get too low scales. So you can put him out with another one and get to a 9 and then pendulum out some cards. So he's very, very good. This is really the only Abyss Actor in the deck that's iffy. Two Lady. So, a Pendulum Scale effect is once per turn, if when you take battle damage from an opponent's attacking monster, you can activate one of these effects. That opponent's monster loses attack equal to the damage you took, even if this card leaves the field. Or add one face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand with attack less than or equal to the damage you took. So that second one is a little more restrictive because you could just take 100 damage and, you know, not add like anything besides I think maybe extras, but I digress. Once per turn, when battle damage is inflicted, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and it loses attack equal to that battle damage. And it should be noted that both of these attack loss effects are permanent too. And then when this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its monster zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can set one Abyss Script spell card directly from your deck. So she helps you get your Abyss Scripts out from the deck as well, lowers monsters' attacks. So she can definitely help. She's the only one that's really, I would say, iffy in the deck. I don't know if you would continue running her in the future if more support came out. So, for you Pendulum boys, this card is probably very familiar. Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. So if he's in your scale and you control no monsters, you can special summon it from the Pendulum Zone, and that's a once per duel effect. And then his monster effect is he gains 1100 attack if you control no other monsters, and once per turn you can send one Abyss Script spell card from your deck to your hand, from your deck to the graveyard to add one face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum from your extra deck to your hand. So again, a little more consistency can help you set up stuff, because you can put him out there, special summon, and then dump and add, all without doing anything. So you can do extras, place, special, dump, add extras, all without using a summon, all for one card. So he is definitely very, very good at 3. One copy of Comic Relief. So Comic Relief is a very it's a very bad card for how it was made, but it's very good for what it does. So Pendulum effect is you can target one Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, and switch control of both monsters, and then destroy this card. So, you know, designated creature swap. You can target anything and just swap them and pop himself. So very cool for that. And then you take no battle damage from attacks involving him. And once per turn during your standby phase, you can control this card to your opponent. And then once per turn, if control of this face-up card changes, activate this effect. The owner of this card can destroy one set Abyss Script spell in their spell and trap zone. So this is your main way of getting your opponent to pop your cards. And it's really lame that this is how they made this. So you have him out there, and you go standby phase, and bam, there you go. Now he's on your opponent's side of the field, and because it specifies the owner, so you will get to choose which one gets popped, but because it is now your opponent's monster, it does count as your opponent's card effect destroying your set card. So that's all it does. I really wish they did something better with it, but you know, you can't really complain. One copy of Trendy Understudy. So when you Pendulum summon a monster, you can add one level 1 or 8 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. It's iffy. It doesn't come up too often. And then if you have 2 Abyss Actor cards in your Pendulum zones, you contribute this card to special one level 1 or 8 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your hand, or face up from your extra deck. That can come up often. Because you can be stuck with your Evil Keels and your extras and need them to make extra plays, and you have no way to do it, and then if you have this guy out, just get him out of there, get those cards out. He's also very iffy. Him and Leading Lady are probably the weakest links in the whole deck. And the last monster we play is 3 copies of extra, so I like to call him Lone Fire Blossom. So he's kind of similar to what's it called, Curtain Raiser. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special it from the Pendulum Zone, and that's a once per turn effect. And then you contribute him to place an Abyss Actor Pendulum from your deck in the Pendulum Zone. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Abyss Actor monsters nor activate the pendulum effect of Abyss Actor extras. And it's once per turn effect, so he, like I said, I like to call him Lone Fire Blossom. He gets out of scale and just helps you dig through your deck, help you get your play started. Alright, so we'll go over the unarchetypal spells we play first. 3 Lure of Darkness, every monster's a dark. Very, very good stuff. This is the one that people might fight me on. I play 2 Sacred Swords of 7 stars. You play 6 level 7s, and being able to help dig through your deck, honestly, I feel like after the first time you use Mellow Madonna, each of her uses just gets less and less important. Superstar less so, but I think he follows that same rule. So having them become a resource engine after their time has come, I feel like is just such a good way to go. And the fact that I haven't seen anyone even testing this with these nice level 7 monsters is kind of asinine to me. And we play 2 Called by the Grave to help stop hand traps and interrupt plays. Alright, now onto these hefty Abyss script cards. So we got 1 Opening Ceremony. If it's activated, you gain 500 life points for each Abyss Actor monster you control. So if you do this turn 1, you can help get yourself set up. If you have 4 monsters, there you go. You're at 10,000 life now. And then if this set card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, you draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. So if you waste all your resources and you pro set this and your opponent pops it, and you know there's one in your extra deck, which there should be because most of the time you will have gotten extras in there or something like that, you'll draw until you have 5 cards to replenish your whole hand. So it's very, very decent. So now we got 3 copies of Rise of the Abyss King. This is their board wipe. This is their Kaiju Slumber. This is one of the best cards of the deck. So you target face-up cards on the field up to the number of attack position Abyss Actor monsters with different names you control and destroy them. And if you control a level 7 or higher Abyss Actor monster, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. And then if this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, under a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, add up the 2 Abyss Actor cards and or Abyss Script spell cards with different names from your deck to your hand. So, such a very versatile card, making it unchainable for a very, very easy cause of just having a level 7 on board. Makes this card, honestly, if it belongs to a better archetype, this card would be the most disgusting thing in the game right now. But because it belongs to Abyss Actors, we gotta deal with it. Alright, so we play 2 copies of Romantic Terror. So you return Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control to the hand, and if you do, you special one from the extra deck in defense, with a different name than the one that you returned. And then if the set card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you set any number of Abyss Script spells directly from your deck. You're not really going to be using it for the first effect, although I could definitely see it coming up. But the second effect is set. You can set 5 straight from the deck. It is such a good card, and it doesn't even restrict the names of the set cards. It's very, very good. We play 1 copy of Abyss Tainment, so you contribute 1, or no, we play 2. I'm sorry. Tribute 1 Abyss Actor monster, then target 1 Abyss Script in your spell card, in your spell, in your graveyard, and set it to your field once per turn, up to twice per turn. Okay. And then if this set card is destroyed, special summon any number of Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters from your deck. So, like, the later they got, the more better support they printed, but there's still no genuine way to proc these effects out. And, you know, we'll go over that in a minute after we're done here. And the last spells we play are 3 copies of Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Theater, the only non-Abyss Script spell that we got. But you can reveal 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster and 1 Abyss Script spell in your hand to add 1 Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand with a different name than the revealed one. And while you control a Pendulum summoned Abyss Actor Pendulum monster, any monster effect activated by your opponent becomes destroy 1 set spell or trap card your opponent controls, and you can only use each effect of this once per turn. So this is this effect, and where is he? This effect. These 2 go hand in hand, and I feel like they should have been put into the same card. Because forcing your opponent to pop your sets is amazing, but you have to be able to proc this at the same time, at the right time. Because I believe the way this is worded, it would be the first monster effect they activate becomes that. So if, you know, if they have nothing set up and you have this and they just activate, I don't know, some dumb shit like a Hillosaurus effect, well, now they just pop a set spell or trap. You know, this deck could have done with some good like artifact type support. But you know, I'm not complaining. So we got one copy of Abyss Actors backstage with 2 traps here. If you have 2 Abyss Actor cards in your Pendulum Zones, you add 2 Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters with different names from your deck to your extra deck face up. So this deck's gimmick used to be just filling up your extra deck with all of these Abyss Actors and then pumping them out. But then Master Rule 4 happened and now you can't do that. But this deck definitely helps you if you brick out. It's basically a 4th copy of extras, I feel like. You can definitely set 2 Gimp scales and then just place stuff in them in the extra deck and be able to start having plays. So I feel like it's definitely worth running at 1. And then the last card I play is one Escape from the Dark Dimension. So like I said, we play Allure. Just open the door. We play Allure. We play Sacred Sword. So we're gonna be banishing cards. This helps you get your plays out. This helps you get your big boys out that you banished. You know, no harm, no foul. Just bring them out. Help you push for game in certain situations. It's also a little iffy, but I like it when I tested it. Alright, that's the main deck, boys. So we'll go over the support. The one card this deck needs is a Link monster. This deck needs a Link monster version of Durandal, pretty much. I feel like that's the only way this deck will be able to function anytime in the future going forward. So something, you know, it's gonna have to be a Link 2 or even a Link 1. Something like 2 Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters, because apparently they're planning non-Pendulum support. When it is Link summoned, I had this written down in my mind and I forgot about it. When an Abyss script card is activated, let's just say it in all Abyss Actors, it points to gain 100 attack. And if a let's see, the same thing with like the spell ground, the field spell. When an opponent's monster or card effect is activated, you contribute 1 Abyss Actor monster this card points to, and if you do, that effect becomes destroy 1 set spell or trap your opponent controls. The other one I had is if Abyss Actor is placed face up in your extra deck, you can draw 1 card or something like that. You know, you'll see the design on board. I'm also gonna put up a list right now, probably at this moment, of potential extra deck. Like I said, you have Electromite Blaze, you have Wee Witch's Apprentice is a card you can definitely make great use of. Draco Sack, Big Eye, Galaxy Tomahawk, Flare Metal. If you're feeling a little spicy, Master of Blades, Lucky Stray. There's a decent level 4 engine going on in here as well, so you can play stuff like Exiton, Baguska. You know, there's lots of options, but the fact that some of the key cards in the whole deck lock you out of doing anything in the extra deck just calls for the need for an Abyss Actor extra deck monster. So that most likely would be a Link monster. If not a Link monster, it would be a Fusion monster with a Contact Fusion Claws. It would have to be, but I'm betting on Link if they would get more support. You know, I didn't think that they would even get the Mellow Madonna support when that came out. So Konami is looking. They're not dumb. They see the cards that people are, you know, liking. People liked this deck. It's like me. I liked this. I liked Cardians. And I like Dino Mist. I like all of those shit decks. So that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Like, subscribe, check out Sora Online on TCGPlayer. It'll help us out. And with that being said, we will see you next time. Peace.